Today we're talking about the great deconstruction and how to deconstruct your faith. Hi, I'm Jared, and thank you for hanging out with me today. There's a lot going on with deconstructing your faith. We're seeing heads of churches and leaders of organizations. We're seeing people that we trusted and walked alongside in the faith, and they're walking away, and the main cause is that they're deconstructing their faith. And let me be clear, we all need to do a lot of deconstruction. We need to unpack the things that we think we know and question the things that we think we're solid about. But I've seen a lot of people who are deconstructing their faith and finding, and largely because they've been wounded or hurt by somebody in the church, or the church failed them. And let's be clear, if you're deconstructing your faith and you found out that your whole faith was based on somebody else, then your faith isn't in Jesus. And that's the main crux of the whole matter, is like, what is your faith based around? The faith that we have has to be rooted in a relationship with Jesus and not on somebody else there. The entirety of God's plan has been to have relationship from the beginning. Check out this video here to dive into that a little bit more, because we covered that once before. But his entire goal has been relationship from the get-go. So if we are lacking in a relationship with him, or other people are in between our relationship with him, then it's on the wrong foot and does need to be deconstructed. See, like the Pharisees, they had their traditions and their popular opinions at the time, but they didn't have relationship. Let's take a look at Mark 7, 5-8. And the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, "Why do your disciples not walk according to the tradition of the elders, but eat with defiled hands?" And he said to them, "Well did Isaiah prophesy about you hypocrites. As it is written, this people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrines and the commandments of men. You leave the commandment of God, and you hold to the traditions of men." He's talking about how their hearts were far away from God, even though they talked a big talk. They talked the talk of faith in God and being close to God and being God's elect and his chosen and the people who know him the best. And yet he's saying their hearts are far away from him. So where is your heart? Have you examined that recently? Where is your relationship? Is your relationship with Jesus, or is it with an organization? Is it with one person who's the head of an organization? Is it a friend? Is it your parents? Is it your spouse? Who in your life has come between you and God and is the anchor of your faith? We all have to examine our beliefs. We need to hold them under a microscope. We need to question what we believe. We need to be sure about what we believe. I am 100% on board with examining everything. The things that you think that you believe that are totally solid, that you are sure that it lines up with the Bible, those are the things that we do need to question. We need to examine those things. We need to make sure that it's a belief in our hearts and not just lip service, that it's something that we genuinely believe. The Pharisees believed that they were defending God while they killed God. That's how far off they were. And they needed to take some time to really examine, where are they with this? How is their relationship? God is about relationships, and they got off along the way, and it was about power. It was about politics. It was about who had what control. Religion is always about control. Relationships have very little control. There's little to no control in a relationship, but in a religion, there's a lot of control. And that's the part, humans, we love our control, but relationships don't have it. We don't have control in a relationship. There's trust, there's love, there's faith. That's the kind of thing that is in a relationship, and that's what we have to walk through. So where are the idols in your life that are greater than Jesus? What are the sacred things that you hold on to that maybe don't truly honor Jesus? Like, where does the religion grip you? Because if you've been in the faith for any amount of time, religion has gripped you. Religion is where we have control on our relationship with God. We are in the power of being able to deem ourselves worthy or unworthy and deem other people worthy or unworthy. That's religion. Relationship is God gave us salvation. God loves us, and we can't do anything to earn that or reject that. He just loves us, and all we have to do is accept that. That is relationship. That is truly walking with God. So where religion grips you, this is where we all need to deconstruct our faith. This is where we need to examine our lives and see what needs to be torn down and what can stay. We have to tear down the lies and religion in our lives. Like, what is the thing that you need to get rid of in your life? And then pursue that. Like, maybe it's to get help. Maybe there's some lies in your life that you need to clear up. Maybe there's some therapy that you need to go through. Maybe you need closer friends that are going to help you walk through some stuff that you know that you don't need in your life anymore. And we need to get rid of the religion and the religious spirits that we walk by because we've just been in it for too long and not questioned and not deconstructed. Questioning is great. But if you're questioning and the questions is the answer that you're seeking and you don't go further, you don't actually look for answers, then you've missed the point of questioning. I am a huge proponent for questioning. Like, let's find the whys behind things. But let's actually find the whys. If you're questioning and that's as far as you go, then you've missed the point of the questioning. Jesus says, ask, knock, seek. Like, seek him out. Ask him these questions. If asking God questions is enough to destabilize Christianity, then it's not very solid. We have to be able to ask the questions because God is bigger than our questions. God is bigger than our faith. He's good for it. And we can ask him and work through these things. Ask, knock, seek. Like, let's pursue him and see what he has to say. But the church has failed us. Yeah, it has. A lot throughout the whole world. And here's a newsflash. It's going to fail us some more. The church has failed us. So do something about it. What are you going to do about it? The entirety of God's relationship with man has to have been a relationship. Don't let other people determine the relationship that you have with God. Those people failed us. Then you lead by example to the believers and show us what it's like to live like Christ. Don't establish your faith on somebody else. Don't let other people be between you and God. Like, the church has failed in many ways, and one of them has been to keep the Bible from the common man, and only special people could get to it. Like, that we established somebody between people and God. In the account of the crucifixion of Jesus, when Jesus dies, the veil that kept the holy place from the Holy of Holies in the temple, the place that God dwelled, it got torn from top to bottom, just ripped, as it was God saying, no more between me and you. I want relationship with everyone. I want to be in relationship with every person that exists. And he tore the veil, and God doesn't dwell in that temple anymore. He dwells in us. He is available for all of us. And all we have to do is accept that This is literally the only qualification, is that we need to just see and know that he loves us and embrace his love. The veil has been torn and you have direct access. So if you have questions, then seek Jesus. Then have that access to Jesus and don't let other people get in the way between you and God. Like, don't trust anybody else's versions of how you interact with God. Don't trust me. Like, you can be encouraged by other people, but you need to have that relationship with God. You need to have that relationship with the great I am, with Jesus himself. You have access to him the same way that I do. Don't let me stand between you and God. You have direct access. You do something about it. You can be encouraged by others, but they shouldn't be your access to God. We don't need priests that connect us to God. You are the priest. You talk directly to God. You can have access to it. And if you don't feel like you have that relationship, if you don't feel like you can grow closer to God, that you feel like he's distant, that he's far away, well, then I have great news for you, because it doesn't have to be that way. This is the super cool and exciting part, is that you have access, and it doesn't take much to be there. We have to let go of shame and guilt in our life and embrace God's grace in our life. But here's an episode that tells you more about that relationship and how to grow closer to God. And let's get rid of the stuff that's keeping us from God, and let's not let other people be that determining factor. If the church has failed you, then be an example. You show us what it's like to have that relationship with God. You be an example of what it means to seek Jesus and to know him better. If you walk away, then what do we gain? We gain nothing. But if you buckle down and show us the way that you see that we should do it, then you are leading us by example. Ephesians 5:1-2. Therefore, be imitators of God, not man, that was me adding, as beloved children, and walk in love, as Christ loved us, and he gave himself up for us, a fragrant offering and a sacrifice to God. Don't let anyone else get in the way of a relationship between you and the great I am, that present God that wants a relationship with us. Don't let anyone else get in the way. Don't build your faith on anyone else. You have direct access to the throne room of God. You seek Jesus. Do the things that you need to find God. If you don't like how the church is handling stuff, then you do the right thing. Lead us by example. Show us how to seek and know Jesus better. Grow that relationship, and that will flourish into so many other relationships, and your progress will be evident to everyone as you grow in Jesus and you're more like Jesus. There's only benefit from that system. Don't just leave us. Don't just walk away. We need you. We need you to walk as Jesus walked. And the giftings that you have, in the ways that God has called you, we need you. Don't abandon us just because we kind of got it wrong. Show us how to do it right, and we will all be better for it. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you hanging out with us. Never forget, you are not alone, and welcome to the Martyr Life.